Shall we begin? Let's begin now.
All right, everybody, welcome to a brand new episode of the Frankly Francisco podcast. I am your host, Francisco. I'm very excited. I have a young and up-and-coming brother with us on the show. He goes by Twash. I'd like everybody to introduce to Twash. How you doing, Twash?
Hey, what's going on? How you doing, everybody?
So if a lot of people don't know, this young man is cutting a path for himself. He's in film. He's doing commercials. He comes from a football family. So Twash, tell the people a little bit about yourself. Give them a little bit about your background, and then we'll get into career a little bit afterwards.
Okay. Well, I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. As you can see, a little bit up top right here. But Cleveland, Ohio, 34 years old. I actually moved to Miami 2014. And I've been just venturing off to different things up here as far as in the acting, training, personal training, working with kids too, and with the nonprofit organization, being a director there. So a little venturing off everywhere, but from Cleveland, Ohio, and moved out here to Miami and enjoying life.
So you come from a football family. Your brother played for Cincinnati. If a lot of people might know him, Shaq Washington. But you played for an historically Black college, which I think is phenomenal because I think historically Black colleges doesn't get enough pub for the type of product they put on the field and the type of men that they graduate. So tell me a little bit about that.
Well, first off, let's rewind back there to, my little brother, Shaq Washington, too. He's a legend out there, especially in Maple, from Cleveland. Everybody know about him, as well as the Washingtons. All right, let's start that. I'm the first professional athlete in the family. All right.
Okay.
Let's not skip over that, just the NFL, I had everything, AFL, CFL, workout with the NFL Pro Days, things of that nature. We can dive into that a little further down the road. But yeah, back to the question. You got to remind me the question now. I didn't got off topic.
So the question is tell me about your experience going to a HBC school that normally they don't get enough pub for the type of people that they graduate and the type of product they put on the field of football. So tell me about that. How was that experience dealing with that? And how was campus life for you at a historically Black college?
Well, I think first off, man, as far as the exposure, it's not a lot of exposure out there with HBCUs. I love the campus life. I love the college life there. As far as football, man, we had the most talent. Like I didn't see it around. It was just not enough exposure out there. It wasn't enough platforms for us. Like now I heard they got like different apps that they can go ahead and promote themselves and things. We didn't have that back then. We had to just do everything maybe on YouTube or send it on your DVD, those type of things. But HBCU was definitely a great school for me. I actually came from Gannett University initially, and I transferred over there because of the team. As far as us winning, I was starting cornerback. I played cornerback. So I was a professional. I was starting corner over there, but the teams, like, their morale was just down and out. It was a losing team, so I had to just transfer out because they didn't care if they lost. And I'm a competitor. Like, we the Washingtons. Like, we didn't did playoffs in high school all the way through Muni League, Cleveland Muni League Football League. I didn't win championships with Cleveland Muni League Football League. Like, we didn't did this our whole life. So for people that wasn't athletic like that and felt like they wasn't a competitor and competing every day, I had to leave that. So when I went to the HBCU, it was like a culture shock, like from going to Gannett University. But it reminded me of Cleveland. It was just like HBCU, it's like high school. Like, everybody cool, everybody know everybody know where the party's at and things like that. But as far as the football wise, I feel like we had a lot of talent. And if we had a lot more scouts that come out there, I think it would be a total different ball game because we had to actually go. Like, my pro day was at Kent State, and I actually got in from my dude that go to Kent State. So I had to like find different avenues. And West Virginia University, the big West Virginia University, I had to like find different avenues to get exposure.
So how do you think that molded you for the next step in your career? So I know you wanted to play football professionally. So going from program to program, trying to find where you fit in and trying to show your talents, how did that mold you for the next step to get you to that next step to trying to play professional?
Well, I think it kind of humbled me, you know what I mean? From coming up there, being a star, every team, and then you going out to a HBCU school and knowing that, all right, you dogging this league, this conference, I'm dominating, I'm doing everything I need to do. And it's just like, now, all right, where the scouts at? Like,
Yeah.
what you mean we don't have a pro day? Like, what you mean? Like what are we doing then if we don't have a pro day? So it kind of humbled you and let you know that, yo, you're gonna have to put your effort a little further into it. So I started, I wish my father was there. He'd tell you I started making my own DVDs and sending out to every team, every NFL team. Like I have
Wow.
every NFL team in my phone. Like to this day, I still got like all the scouts numbers in his phone. Like I was bugging them. Like I'm sending them DVDs. Like, yo, you need to watch me. I run a 4-3. I do the bench press, 30 reps, 225. Like this ain't no joke. Like what are you talking about? I'm hitting people, smacking people, and I'm fast. Like this is what you need. But it was always majority of the NFL. Like once I started when I went to the AFL, Arena Football League, one on ESPN, the real one, and then CFL, Canada, Canadian Football League. It's like the NFL in Canada. When I went to both of those, I noticed like the NFL Pro Day that I came from was more so about stature, and it was all about height, weight, whatever you. I'm 5'9". I may bench out the word, I may run out the word, but I'm 5'9". You know what I mean? So as a cornerback, at that time they started wanting taller receivers, 6 foot. But yeah, it definitely humbled me, man. I get more motivated. It kept me motivated. Like you said, it definitely motivated me even more. Like, you're not gonna see me. Nah. I'm gonna make sure you see me. I'm gonna send this out to everybody.
But I think it's a disparity, man, when it comes to HBCU schools. Like you have Dion right now, Coach Dion. He's trying to change that narrative because he's bringing a lot of talent to where he's at right now, and he's giving the HBCU more exposure. But it should have been the talent that comes out of those schools are crazy, and you don't hear a lot about that talent that comes out of that school until they become stars. But I guarantee you have a lot of guys that are from HBCU schools that are on NFL rosters right now that nobody's talking about. You know what I mean? It takes a lot of effort to get that type of exposure, but you live that life, you live that football life, and you shifted. Once that career ended for you, when you know you were done trying to pursue your dream, going pro, full time NFL, CFL arena, what was your next avenue for you? Because football is basically what you did essentially for your whole life. You ate, slept, thought it, lived it. That was your whole life. So what was the mentality for you when you had to make that switch to your next career?
Man, I'm not gonna lie to you. I was lost. I was lost, man, because like you said, that's all I did. Like I never even had a birthday to celebrate until after football was over. My birthday is August 11th. You know what that is? That's mini camp. Like that's
Yeah.
camps for anybody. So we in camp. We getting ready. That's actually some games. You know what I mean? Like we about to start a game in high school. So it was just like, I was actually able to live my life a little more, but I was kind of lost as far as where I'm gonna go. Luckily, I had I was blessed to have a bachelor's degree in social work. And so, I graduated with a bachelor's degree in social work, cum laude, by the way. But after I did that, I had to like venture off into working with troubled youth, and then I actually moved to Florida after that. But working with troubled youth was my passion after that because it was just like I was an at-risk youth myself, so I was like trying to make sure I encourage and motivate the other young adults, to let them know there's other outlets, there's other ways to go on about things.
So that to me, that's a beautiful thing because you shifted from a career, and most kids in your position do the same thing. They eat, sleep football. Their dreams are NFL, but it's a small percentage that make it to that next level. And a lot of kids don't know how to veer off from that or have a backup plan. And I think what you do by mentoring the youth, you can actually step in and be like, listen, I lived that life, I lived that career. It's gonna fade out at some point. If you don't make it, you don't make it, but you have to have a backup plan. You had a backup plan. And I think it's a beautiful thing that you show these kids and these youths that, listen, there is another way. It doesn't have to be all about pro. You have to have a backup plan. So by working with the youth, is that something that fulfills you a lot? Does it, because you're generally giving back to these kids and giving them your experience so they don't make those same mistakes you made growing up, and they have a better chance to actually be something for themselves when they get older.
Absolutely, and that's what it's about, giving back. And I feel like a lot of these youth got the potential, and just have to stay out of trouble. And that's the biggest thing, staying out of trouble and actually having a backup plan. It's funny that you mentioned a backup plan because, like, this is probably like a story I already tell like a couple people, but evidently it's about to go out. But I'm like, man, when I had a scholarship to go to Ghana University, I had a school ride. I was going to Ghana University. I actually went there. I promise you. I told this is the reason why I got into social work. It was one black teacher there. One black teacher there. He came to me and he said, yo, what you want to do if football? He asked me, like, what's your major and everything. I said, man, to be honest, I'm going to the league. Like, I'm going to the league. Like, man, whatever major I want to pick, like, I'm playing football, bro. They got me out here playing football. So I just had that mindset, like, I'm going to the league. And then he like, yo, so what if it don't happen? What if you get hurt? What if you get, and it just clicked in there. I'm like, yeah, you're right. So what do you think I should do? So I'm talking to this teacher and he read it. He's like, well, you should come in my field. He was like, you come in the social work field. I'm like, oh, really? Oh, what y'all do over there? He was like, well, you like giving back. You like helping others, don't you? I'm like, yeah, I got a passion to help others for sure. He was like, well, you can give back to the kids, and try to help them on a good path that you want. And I'm like, yeah, you're right, man. You're right. You're right. And that's how I jumped into social work. I'm like, yo, it was crazy. I didn't have a backup plan until I actually started to think about it. Like, yo, you can get hurt and all this can go out the window. And that's exactly what happened. Tore my hamstring working out with the CFL and the AFL I was playing with. And then I had the workouts with, like I said, Jason Garrett's father, Jason Garrett, the real Jason Garrett. And it's just like, yo, anything can happen. And it did happen.
But you had that mentor though. You had somebody that stepped in for you, which is, I mean, now you're doing the same thing. Somebody stepped in for you to help you, guide you in that direction, and now you're giving back and doing the same thing for those kids. And I congratulate you on that, man, because there's not a lot of people after trying to pursue a career like that wants to give back. People get bitter and they don't want to, they didn't realize their dreams, so they're bitter all the time. But you turn that around, man, and you're starting to build on top of what you're doing now. So besides the football now, besides doing the counseling that you're doing for the inner city youth that you're working with, you are actually shifting into the Hollywood mode right now. I mean, you're out there. You're building a brand for yourself. You're building a name for yourself. You're visible on your social media. People are getting to know Twash the way they need to get to know Twash. So what shifted that you decided, hey, you know what? I gave football a shot. I was good at it. Now let me give a run at Hollywood.
Well, what's funny? So when you said mentor too, because it all ties in together. My father is like, my biggest mentor, period. I talk to him like that's my homeboy, like that's my best friend. Like I talk to him every day. So he kind of mentored, of course, me and molded all of us, all the football players of the family to stay successful because he already told us like, yo, I'm not paying for college. So you got to get a scholarship playing football or academics. So what you going to do, brother? So that's kind of how it was. And so he kind of mentored me, and it ties in together because his personality rubbed off on my personality, and we kind of acted like. So we have like this outgoing personality as far as like good sense of humor and very outspoken. And that tied into acting. And so I would be around a lot of people and everybody like, yo, man, he keep throwing these jokes or he keep making people laugh and everything. Or yo, and I see a couple people ask me about taking pictures, modeling and things like that. And so I came out here to Miami and I'm like, man, you know what? Man, I'll take this model, I'll take this photo shoot or whatever. And it started off from like a photo shoot. And the guy out here named Jamal, he actually met me We did a photo shoot, and then he actually introduced me into being an extra on the first one I did was a movie, Ride Along. I think Ride Along 2. I think Ride Along 2. But it was years before it actually
Yeah.
came out. I didn't know nothing about the production life and the set like then, but I was an extra on there. And that's how I kind of like got into it. Being an extra introduced me into getting more roles, starting to network and having my big personality. I started meeting a lot of people, a lot of girls, a lot of producers, a lot of everybody on set. Like they knew me like that. Yeah, yeah. We need to give him some extra roles, and I got plugged in with different talent agencies, and those agencies kind of contact me back for different roles, and that's kind of like how everything started.
So how do you keep yourself from being pigeonholed? Because you were in Ballers, you were in a few episodes of Ballers. You've done a few commercials already. You're working on a film right now that hasn't come out yet. Due to COVID, I think production has been paused a little bit. How do you keep yourself from being pigeonholed? Because Ballers was a football show, so you were a football player. So how do you keep yourself from? We just going to use them for football roles, but how do you show your talent besides the football? Because that's what everybody's going to look at. They're going to look at your background and say, oh, we can use them as an extra on a football, show or movie.
Mm-hmm. So what it is actually bringing out more of your personality. When you actually introducing yourself to the producers and the casting crew, and so what's going on is you're actually interviewing, without you knowing. You're actually interviewing, talking to people, and saying, "Hey, give them that personality." Like, yo, okay, I'm not just that macho man with muscles, or I'm just gonna play any type of football role. Like, hey, I'm ready to act any type of role. And that's kind of like they giving us that opportunity, that chance to venture out there with different roles. Cause I thought it would be tough. Cause we're probably gonna talk about it, but the couple of things that you said, like the Ballers, like, all right, so when I was in Ballers, I actually it's funny that I'm so outgoing that I actually met The Rock. And the craziest part about meeting The Rock on set is like I bumped into him. Like, yo, this we on a yacht together, and we in the VIP yacht, and I'm an extra at this time. And then they actually bumped me up to speak a little, but I didn't have a speaking role. They actually bumped me up to a preferred extra. So this is like I'm going to be one of the characters that's always inside of the episodes of the football scenes for like the Miami Dolphins.
So you're visible. You're more visible than normal.
Absolutely. So what I did was we was on the yacht and he was walking. It was a little aisle, and I was like, I had a suit on. He was in a party, and during the middle of the set, I bumped him. He tried to get there. Hey man, Rock. Hey man, this aisle ain't big enough for the both of us, man. I swear to God, this man turned around and was like, oh, what? You talking about your little butt and that little suit you got on? So you better move out the way. and like he broke down, had everybody laugh. Like it's just like crazy how down to earth he is and everything. But the people on set seeing this, like, yo, this man is talking to everybody. Like, what's going on? And they actually got to call me for different roles. And so now, as far as like commercials, it's a lot of commercials out here in Miami. So that's kind of like what I'm doing, a lot of commercials. But as far as movies, though, a girl named Esprit came to me, and it's from another set that I was on. I met a guy, and he knew her, and he was like, "Hey, they're actually casting for a leading role on this." I'm like, "All right, well, I'm gonna send over. I'm go ahead and meet her." I introduced myself. On that day, I went through. I think a monologue was probably about 2 minutes long. Read through monologue and just showed emotion with it. Man, she was like, "Oh yeah, you're gonna be a leading actor. You're gonna be one of the leading roles, like for sure." And it happened to be a doctor role, so I had to switch the whole demeanor,
the whole persona. Yeah.
How you doing?
So, which is dope. So basically, you work the room, man. You work the room, and you show the charisma to a lot of people. Because some people stay in the shell and they don't like working the room. You're an extrovert like me. You're like, you can talk to anybody, you can have a conversation with anybody. It doesn't matter who it is. I don't gotta know you, and we'll sit there and we'll have a whole conversation because that's just the type of people we are. So you work that room and it got you where you need to be. A lot of people don't have that charisma, but you do. So what are the next steps for you? What is it that your ultimate goal is when it comes to this? Because I know you're still doing the mentoring, and I know you're still working for the company that you're working for, mentoring the youth, but I know acting is something that you want to try to go do full time. So at some point, are you going to stay in Florida? Are you going to try to move it out to LA? Because that's where the movie roles are really going, or Georgia, because Georgia, you have Tyler Perry Studio, which is the largest out there right now. Are you going to try to which direction are you going to try to go, LA or Georgia, to try to get some more roles? Because Florida's cool, man, but to get that pub, you're going to have to show your faces more in those two states, or are you just going to try to get out there for a while and do auditions? How's that going to work for you?
So I kind of think though eventually I'll be living by coastal in a minute. Like I feel like that's probably what I have to do because a lot of roles, like you said, is in LA, and I love Miami. So it's just like I love Miami. Like I can fly out there and do some roles, and then I might have to have another little place out there in LA. Like that's the only thing that I'm thinking about right now because, like you said, a lot of the roles are in LA and Atlanta. But for right now, I want to focus on probably getting into acting school to actually taking a class or two. Because even though it may think that stuff come natural and all this, like I got that personality, still got to learn how to give more emotion, learn the scripts. Them scripts be killing people, man. The monologue, it'd be some long scripts, especially for leading roles. Crazy, man. I'll be having improv some stuff off, like, yo. But anyway, I want to focus on this movie that should be we still working on because of the COVID. They stopped. But the movie is called The Rebirth. And so it will be out hopefully by the end of next year. But we're going to be finishing off the end. They actually sent me a script yesterday, an updated script yesterday. So we're about to start back shooting. We shot a little bit before. If you go to my page on Twash 21, I got a lot of the highlights on there as far as we had like a little bit of the movie come out. I want to say a little small trailer before the actual movie is completed. So we had like a small trailer, like to give it out there to them big name, maybe Tyler Perry pick it up or BT. Now, hopefully somebody like that picks up the pitch and then we can go from there. But hopefully that movie turns out good for me, man. That's what I'm banking on, that. And I still talk to a couple of agents to try to get me out there with more commercials to get in the field more. I mean,
so are you signed? So are you signed to an agency already? Is there an agency you're signed to?
You know what's funny? Out here in Florida, it's good. You can be with multiple agencies. So I'm with a couple agencies that looks for different talent, different modeling talent agencies, and a different agent too as well. So you can be with multiple.
So, but how about LA though? Have they told you anything about that? How that works out there?
Hi. So LA, they big on the SAG, like SAG. So you gotta have like a certain amount of roles, a certain amount of speaking lines in order to get SAG, and then they make the most money in those SAG projects. Right now it's non-union for me, and so that's what I'm focusing on, trying to get more roles so I can get SAG. You have to complete a certain amount of roles in order to get.
Yeah, I believe the minimum for SAG is, I think for minimum for a role, SAG is like $60,000. I think that's the minimum pay for a role out there in California when you're under SAG. When I was younger, I tried to do the whole acting thing myself. I was very into it. I did a couple of plays, but this is what I like to do. I like talking to people like you, because what you do is you inspire other people. You inspire younger people to go, hey, I can jump from this career to this career when something's not working, and you're not letting those things hold you down. So I know being in movies and TV, physique is a big thing for you. What is your regiment, man? Because you look jacked, bro. Like, I see your IG live. I see you running every morning. Like, what is your regiment? What is it that you can pass on to these other kids to keep in the shape that you have to keep in? Because you're what? You're 35 now, right?
34, man. Don't try to juice me up. I don't want to get too old.
So you're 34 years old, but your physique still looks like you're in your 20s. What is your regimen, man? What does your diet look like? What is the type of work that you have to put in every day to keep that physique?
I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I was thinking about putting out some workout videos too. Because to be honest, I don't have a strict eating diet, a plan. I don't have one of those. Like I don't do that. What I do, I don't eat fried food like that at all. I don't really eat that late. But majority of I want to say how I live my lifestyle, my regimen will probably be working out consistently, 4 days a week. I run 3 days a week. So that kind of like, it kind of like if I eat something bad, kind of like I'll weigh it. All right, I'm still gonna work out 4 times a week. You know what I mean? And then the normal stuff, protein, man, all natural stuff. But when I say natural, I mean no steroids or no things like that. Like I'm using straight protein. You know what I mean? So natural stuff. It's a lot of people out here. I have to mention that because a lot of people out here that's ripped and everything using steroids. All right, like nah, that ain't how it's gonna happen. But yeah, man, the eating, I don't really even watch the way I eat as much. Just no fried food and no eating real late. And I work out, like you said, I work out all the time, 4 days a week. I'm running 3 days a week. Yeah, just nonstop with that, consistent. I mean, I work out. I'm a football player. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
just
yeah.
natural.
Yeah, well, some of these guys when they get done playing football, they get the weight on. You know what I mean? They start eating junk food and put that weight on it. They eat a lot of the stuff they couldn't eat when they were playing professionally. So, you see it like basketball players, these guys get a bunch of weight once they're done playing because they don't have to stay in that top physical form anymore. But in the type of business that you're going into, Hollywood, physique matters, face matters, how you take care of yourself
Miami.
matters. Miami,
Miami.
yes, yes, especially Miami. And then with the melanin in your skin, it actually works out better for you because you can handle that Miami sun. You got some folks who are living down there that look like straight leather because their skin can't handle it. But us having the melanin in our skin, it we can handle that sunlight. You understand where I'm coming from? We can handle that tone on the skin. Moving forward for you, I know you want to do bi-coastal. You're gonna have to go back. You're gonna have to go back and forth because you're not gonna give up that Miami that Miami lifestyle. You like that Miami lifestyle for you.
It's the
But is
difference
there?
between that.
So
Because you got to think about it too. Now, Cali have all them type of natural disasters. In Miami, we only have one, hurricanes, and you know when it's going to happen.
And you know it's
They
gonna
tell
happen,
you
yeah.
2 weeks ago, like a week ahead, like, okay, I'm gone then. I'm flying back. Hey, yo, mom, you got the couch. I'm doing something. I'm flying back to Cleveland.
So if you have to do that, and you have to be LA for long periods of time. You got to find that balance, man, because all that flying back and forth, man, that can get to you going back and forth. So are you already working on that mindset? Like, listen, if I want to further my career, I know I'm going to have to make some sacrifices down the road. It's just the way it is. You might have to be in LA for 6 months, 7 months, trying to find work. Your managers, are going to try to find you work out there as well. And you're going to have to fly out. And don't get me wrong. If some of these companies want you, they'll fly you out there. You don't have to worry about paying for it yourself. They will put you up in a hotel and they will fly you out there. But you have to hit the ground running out there. So how are you making more connections for yourself? Are you using social media to connect to other people? How are you making those connections that's going to help further your career? Because it's all about collaboration. Like I'm collaborating with you right now. So what avenues are you using to try to connect those to those people that can help you take that next step?
Oh, it's a lot of social media, of course, a lot of social media. And then I have a lot of people that's actually in Cali and in Atlanta that I have to submit different auditions, different roles for. And I have actually one of the little managers is actually in Atlanta, and I have a couple actors that I know in Cali. And so every time they get a role or they talk to a producer or they talk to anyone that's a talent agent, they always try to bring me along with it. So I mean, I kind of like know different agents out there too. So I kind of like talk to them already. So it's just like you said, getting there. It's like getting there is gonna be everything because I had a couple auditions in Cali. I just couldn't go they wanted me to go like they'll give you a call and they'll say, hey, Terrence, I need you to come out here tomorrow, or I need you to come out here in 2 days for 7 days. You know what I mean? So, like you said, you got to manage your time well because now you're working too, and so you got to pick and choose. But eventually, I should be in that. I got a lot of things up my sleeve, so I should be in that range, do what I want to do in a minute.
But I love it though. So, and this is what people fail to understand. And a lot of people let their pride get in the way when it comes to this stuff. You are allowing people to help open doors for you. A lot of guys, they have this, it's crabs in the barrel sometimes. They have this mentality where I'm gonna just do it on my own. We need help sometimes. And if somebody can get us where we help us open that door for us and get us where we need to be, we need to accept that. And that's what you're doing, man. You're like, nah, if homie want to help me get an audition, let's do that. You're accepting that help because you can pass it on to somebody else. You can do the same thing for somebody else, like the same way you're passing on knowledge to these kids that you're mentoring. It all ties in together, man. So that mentality for you there is there already, which I can appreciate, man. And it's the biggest frustration for me is when you're trying to collaborate people, you're trying to chase people. When they get to a certain point and they get too big, they don't know you no more. They don't want to work with you anymore. But the mentality that you have, I don't think you're ever going to be that way, man, because you're a rising star right now. Your trajectory is up. You're going to be whatever you want to be. You're going to make it however work. But the one narrative that you're putting out there is you need to work for it. It's not going to be handed to you.
Absolutely. Gotta work hard for everything, man. I mean, especially in Miami too. Like, you gotta work together with people. I mean, because there's a lot of people I know that's photographers, a lot of videographers, a lot of actors down here. We all kind of work together. And then, once they put you, they can lead you to the water, but they can't help you drink it. You know what I mean? Do the rest.
So listen, before we jump off here, man, I got to get into this with you. You from Cleveland. You were born and bred Clevelander.
1-6 still.
Yet, you are a Kansas City Chiefs fan. How did that happen? Explain this to me.
All right, man. So I'll get into this with my brothers all the time. So, I've been rocking with them for about 5 years, man. I love Patrick Mahomes. He's the truth. Like, he's the truth. I call him Baby Goat. Me and my dad call him Baby Goat because the GOAT. I hate to mention, I'm not even gonna mention the other guy now, but to me, he's going to be the GOAT. All right, period. All right, period. Matter of fact, you know what I mean? Just in case you had, asked me something, I was just gonna have to, bring out a little bit of, but for real though, I got to root for 2 teams, so I get into it with my brothers all the time, man. They're like, oh no, you root for the Chiefs, I'm like, yeah, I'm from Cleveland, so I gotta, root for the Browns, but if they playing the Chiefs, man, that's my man, Mahomes, man. We're just too great, man. It's just, he's the GOAT, man.
I can just imagine
something about the GOAT.
I could just imagine holidays when you come back going back to Cleveland to visit the family, man, the kind of arguments that you guys would get into. It's got to be hilarious, bro.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't even bring the jersey home. I don't even bring the jersey home just out of respect from Cleveland. Like, it's tatted on me and I can't come home with the jersey and the hat. And they was playing, the first game of the season.
Yeah.
I couldn't. I watched with my father. I can't wear the jersey and the hat doing that, man. I can't do that.
So before we jump off, where can people find you? Where can people find Twash on social media platforms? Where is it that they can see you, they can interact with you? Because I mean, you're very interactive on your social media platform. So where are you the most? Where they can find you? How can they hit you up?
Well, I got Snapchat, Twash216, and then of course IG, which is Instagram. And that is Twash21, and that's kind of like that's my go-to right there. So you can always get with me on there. It's my go-to. I got other links on there too that you can click on too. See the different roles, different movies I was in. I put the highlights on there too. But yeah, Twash21 on IG.
So I want everybody to be aware of this, man. You seen it here. This is interviewing with me, and I appreciate you coming on the show. His trajectory is he's going to skyrocket, man. His personality, your personality is out there, man. I see big things for you in the future. I see you being more successful, but I appreciate the fact that you stay grounded, you stay hungry, and you stay humble, because you could have got a big head already from all the things that you're doing, but you're not. And you're still the biggest thing for me is the respect I give you the most is not the fact that you're in movies and TV shows, is the fact that you're still passing on knowledge to these kids to help lead the way for them to understand that there's other things besides football that you can do. And you're help mentoring these kids, which I don't think we have enough of. So salute to you, man. Respect for everything that you're doing. And I wish you. Yeah, and I wish you number
doing everything that you're doing, man. I just want to, congratulate you, Frances. Man, listen. You got the new show, my brother on it too. You know, you've been doing your thing. I watched every episode so far. Y'all was very accurate at everything. I'm telling you, I've been watching it, man.
I
Hopefully,
appreciate
I'm telling you, I know it's gonna blow up.
I appreciate it, man. So for everybody, thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.